What's up guys, Tomcat here, and today we are back in Forza Horizon 3, and we're going to be talking about one of the cars in the new car pack. This is the Jaguar XES, and we've done a few basic upgrades on it. We've done suspension, we've done wheels, we've done a little bit with power. The car makes right under 500, it makes about 480, it's like 484, I believe, and you'll see later in the video when we show the telemetry. But I wanted to talk about why this car and a lot of the cars in this new car pack have been really underappreciated, like really, really badly. I mean, I remember when this car pack came out, when the trailer came out, people got mad. People got, like, annoyed and people got mad. And, I mean, I understand in one way that, you know, there may not be a car for everybody in every car pack. I mean, I get that. There's some car packs that I didn't really like, and that's to be expected out of any game. But, you know, people saying that it was the worst car pack ever, people saying that all of the cars except for, I think all of the cars except for the Camaro were crap, and I feel like this car pack got a lot of hate that it didn't deserve, and specifically I wanted to go over one of the cars that I figured was particularly underappreciated was this Jag, because everybody looked at it as a normal sedan that was just boring, right? Everybody looked at it as a normal sedan that was just boring. And once you up the power a little bit and you get a nice design on it, some nice wheels, you lower it down, it actually really, it really is pretty cool. And it's smaller than all the other Jag SUVs, or sorry, SUVs, not SUVs, sedans. It's smaller than all the other Jag sedans, and it feels much sportier to drive. It feels smaller to drive. I mean, especially in game, you can tell when you're driving, especially when you're driving a car in third-person view, some cars just feel big, and the other Jags, a lot of them feel big. This one feels a lot more nimble than a lot of the other Jags in the game, and I'm not sure why that is, considering the fact that it is a sedan, and generally they don't feel anywhere close to as nimble as the other more sporty offerings from Jag do. And of course, the race suspension contributes to that a lot, but this car is even on stock tires still, which is why it can spin the rears up until 5th gear, 6th, sometimes in 6th gear, and yeah, that was crap. But the reason why this car reason why I really like this car for drift purposes is because you don't really need to mess with the gear ratios much. I mean, really, you have enough grip on the factory tires. You leave those on. You up the power to, like I said, right around 500. This car's got a little bit less than 500. It's like 484. And it becomes really smooth to drive. All the gear ratios are nice and tight, which is good for drifting. And I know a lot of, again, there's going to be people in the comment section that are like, what do you mean? You have no clue what you're talking about. And I guess, and I say that as I have to rewind because I go off the road. But again, sometimes you just have to rewind. So I think a big thing too with this car is that it's unassuming, right? You know, nobody's gonna really expect this if you show up to a drift lobby. Nobody's gonna expect an XES if you show up to a drift lobby. And, you know, especially a drift lobby full of S13s and S14s and things that are quite normal to see. And, you know, Nissan Zs, things that are quite normal to see in that type of an environment. But originally when I entered that corner, I wanted to go around the roundabout, and that's when I realized that this thing does have a bit of a flaw with smaller roundabouts. You can't put it in first because it doesn't really have enough in first to kick the rear end around, so you have to put it in second. But the thing is, the revs go up and down so quickly with the lighter weight flywheel that it's just kind of like, it's weird. You have to maintain this really weird balance that doesn't always feel right, but I mean, you get used to it, and I think that's the only place where this car is a little weird is on those tighter roundabouts. It just kind of gets iffy. But on the more like kind of the mild sweeper sections, car's great. It really is. It's lacking a bit in power for the really big sweepers because it can't maintain enough speed in combination with wheel spin to, you know, to keep the back end kicked out enough. But I think, you know, overall that's kind of a it's not a real issue, right? It's not a real issue if you're looking for something that's balanced. I mean, like I said, this car is not swapped. It's still on the supercharged V6. It's only, you know, mildly modified, and it becomes, because I think we really over-obsess with cars that are, either swapped or, you know, you have to build it 100% to 900 horsepower, and that's it. Nobody has any in-between cars anymore. And especially in Forza, nobody builds in-between cars anymore. And, you know, some people would say, well, that's because they're boring. And I disagree with that. I think that there's challenge to be had in a car that doesn't have, you know, in drifting a car that doesn't have tons of power. Because when you're drifting a car that doesn't have tons of power, you have to actually pick lines, and you have to actually know how to use the e-brake, and you have to actually clutch kick, and it's not just plant the throttle, counter steer, and go, which a lot of the current drift builds that you see really are. They're just turn the wheel, plant the throttle, and go, and tire smoke and wheel spin. Woohoo, right? But this is more along the lines of you actually have to think, if I turn in too early, I can't cure that with power, right? I'm going to have to transition back the other way and then flick it back the same way I was going again to actually recover that drift. So you have to think ahead when you're drifting something that's a little bit less powerful. But in the end, that will teach you a little bit more about that'll teach you a little bit more about your own skill, and it'll help you, I think. But that's definitely this part. Okay, I spun around, got hit by the first AI, got hit by the second AI, and then got hit by the third AI. And at that point, okay, I spun around in front of one AI, and I get that. Okay, I didn't realize he was behind me. I spun around in front of him, and he hit me. Okay, cool, fine. The second AI could have gone around me easily, but decided to plow into me. Not AI, Drivatar. Decided to plow straight into me, and then the third one just came out of nowhere and just boom. But that, I think, I'm not sure quite why Drivatar. I still feel like Drivatars target the player to a certain degree. I still feel like there's a little bit of player targeting there. And I don't know if that's to make the player have to avoid the Drivatars rather than the Drivatars avoiding them. But regardless, when you get hit by Drivatars 3 times in a row, like boom, 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 back to back to back, I begin to wonder sometimes about how that actually, you know, translates. But yeah, I think also too, you got to realize that, back to the subject with the car, you got to realize that when you try different cars, you end up finding stuff that you didn't think you would like. When I first built this car, it was kind of like whatever, I'll just build one. And then I ended up really liking it because I found it fun, because I found it different. You know, you don't really see many, not turbocharged, supercharged V6 sedans. I mean, this thing makes 18.1 pounds of boost. I mean, 18 pounds of boost is a good bit for a supercharger. It really is. It's not that much for turbos, but it's a really good bit for a supercharger. And I think that, and keep in mind, that's with different, you know, a different pulley and things like that. But I think that in the end, this car is definitely a lot of fun, and it's definitely heavily overlooked, and I think you should try it out. I really do, and I think people should give this particular car pack another chance, because people were really, really harsh on this car pack. They were like really, really harsh to the point where some people were like, I'm not even going to download it. It's like, I'm like, dude, at least give the car pack a chance. At least give the car pack a chance, and see if there's something you might like, because you may be surprised. But if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Tell me in the comments below what you guys thought of it, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more. I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later.